Hi, I'm Steven, and that's JJ, and we're from Just Got Played. And today we're going to talk about Reputation from Ninja Star Games. So thank you to the publisher for sending us a review copy of this game. So that's what we'll be talking about, and that's what you'll see on the table here in a minute. But let me get to the table, show you how the game is played, and then we'll come back and tell you what we think of it. In a game of Reputation, you are trying to collect the most money while not having the lowest reputation. So this is the setup for a 3-player game. Every player gets one of these player boards, 10 workers, a corporation, and a CEO. And you make a stack of 10 public and private sector projects. That's going to signify the 10 rounds. So that's basically the counter of the game. So the first thing that you do is you actually reveal these cards. And you can see this one, there's supposed to be 10 credits on that. So take 10 credits here and put them there. This means that 2 workers need to be bid on this, and it's worth 3 reputation at the end of the game. The private sector project is worth -2 reputation at the end of the game. Note that I have some special goal every round. I can score extra reputation by doing whatever my CEO wants me to do. And I have a once per game ability for my corporate card as well. So I've got the first player marker. So what I can do is I can bid on one of these projects. So this says 2 workers it needs to be bid here. So I could put 2 workers here. But when I bid here, I have to move money from the public project to the private project. So I could say move 5. I have to move at least 1. Now the next player goes, and this is one of the interesting things about the auction on the public is it's always just 2 workers. So they can actually put 2 black workers here to bump my 2 red workers. And then again, they only have to move, say, 1. So they don't have to outbid me here. Now maybe blue decides they're going to jump in here. Okay. If I want to outbid blue, I actually have to put more workers. So now I'm winning the private sector project. It is black's turn, but they're winning. If you're winning one of these 2 things, then you have to pass. So they pass, and now maybe blue says, "Oh, you know what? I'll bump black and move another dollar over. I'm still winning this. I have to pass." Comes back over here. Black says, "You know what? I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to put 1 there." And then blue decides maybe to pass. Now, if blue passes, I have to pass. Black passes. And this bidding round is over as soon as everybody consecutively passes. So what does that mean? Okay, so the private sector project, I've won this. My workers stay on this card. And now this money goes to me. And I can keep that face down. The public sector project, it goes to black, but now there's another round of bidding that happens because black is going to get this card and they're going to get the 3 reputation at the end of the game. But the 2 other players are going to secretly, so I would take all of my workers into my hands and I would put some amount in this hand, like say maybe 2. And I'll put this hand out and this hand back, and blue will simultaneously do that, and we're going to bid. All right. So let's say blue bid 2. So now there's a tie. Well, while we were doing that, the black player has taken this token and put it in their hand. And so, the player to their right, player to the left. I'm to the right of black. So they actually broke the tie. So in the case of the tie. So what happens is this card goes here. It goes, let's say we'll put them over here for between us. The 2 workers that I bid are on there. Now you can see I have a lot less workers for the next round. But at the beginning of the next round, we're going to move the start player marker. We're going to turn over to projects, etc. But also we're going to move workers from projects into the rest area. So this is my private projects. I can move 1 here. And I have public projects to the left and the right, potentially. I can move 1 here. They also could move 1 here. And then at the end of the round, these ones will come back into my supply. So when you use your workers, they're out there for a little bit before you can get them back. So at the end of the game, you're going to add up your reputation. You get a reputation and monetary bonus here, depending on how many workers you have back at your home base. You could have gotten reputation throughout the game from whatever your CEO's ability is. And you add up the public, I don't have any over here at the moment, but this whatever public projects and private projects you have. Whoever has, in a 3-player game, whoever has the lowest reputation loses. And then the 2 remaining players, they count up the number of credits they have, and the person with the most credits wins. At 5 players, you actually eliminate 2 people for having lower reputation. So anyway, that's a basic overview of how the game is played and all the different bidding mechanisms that you find in here. All right, let's go back and we'll tell you what we think of it. All right, so that is how to play Reputation. JJ, let's start with you. Why don't you tell me what you like about the game?
Okay, Reputation. So right off the bat, I do like the pieces. I like the art of the game. And then also, we only play with 3 players, but I can tell right now that it scales quite nicely. Big thing is that you can only be active in 1 auction at a time, which is pretty good. But any game where everybody can participate in like every phase, kind of have like a turn order type thing, I really like. So I can see this game will scale from like 2 people or 3 people at the minimum, and then all the way up, what is it, 5 or 6 at the most?
I'm not sure how many players it goes to. It goes to 5. Yeah, that's right. It goes all the way up to 5.
So yeah, 3 to 5. I don't see it really taking too much longer, or the gameplay. There's no downtime really. So anytime you get to the bigger 5 and higher player count games, there's a lot of downtime usually in between people's turns. But with this game, you're going to want to pay attention. So for the ADHD people, you're not going to be picking up your phone and doom scrolling very much. So that's my number one.
I just like to jump in there because, it is not a long game, but even more importantly, it does not overstay its welcome, right? Like you're still into the game up into the last round, not just, gosh, I wish this was over. It was the time fit for the game.
Yeah, it was very quick, very easy to teach. And it's just, you have the player powers, which I like, and then it's just auction. That's it. Auction, and you get right to the game. So if you want a quick game and everybody likes to auction and you have like a little bit more competitive group, then really easy game, easy to pick up and then just play for like 30 minutes once you get to know it.
Yeah, I think asymmetric powers are really hard to balance. And I'm not sure they're perfectly balanced here.
No.
But the ones we played with, I thought were okay, right? Like I've played some games where it's just clearly one is much better than the other, and they, the poor job balancing. But I didn't get the sense here. I felt they were all pretty much in the same space, even if it's not perfectly balanced.
Yeah, they're not perfectly balanced. The company powers were pretty good. The ones per game, those were pretty nice. So that part I like.
Yeah. The CEO, how you got those extra coins was, that seemed a little more variable. But so, what I liked about the game is I like auction games, right? For Sale is one of my favorite games of all time. So just give me a pure auction game and that's fine. But I also like auction games like Keyflower, where there's other stuff going on while you're doing auctions. And this is sort of an odd mix of both, because the game really is just auctions, right? There's the public auction, there's the private auction, there's the auction to support the co-sponsorship, I think it's called, where you support the public, whoever won the public auction, all of that is auction mechanisms. But it's weird because it's not like modern art where it's just what card did we draw, what random type of auction are we doing here. It's that sort of mix of the public is going on with the private, which one do I want to try to get in on, and then they've got that extra level, and also, even though you're not doing that co-sponsorship till after those, you got to be thinking, do I want to just save some people for that? Because people are the workers or whatever they are, that the little meeples that you're sending out, they're really tight in this game. And I think one of the things that you have to optimize in this game, which you don't normally think about in an auction game, is I need to figure out how I'm going to get these people back. And you could at most be getting 3 back every turn. And that's only if you've invested in private and the
co-sponsored the two publics next to you. So like sometimes you want this person to win a public one so you can co-sponsor that one because you aren't getting people back from that one. Like, so there's a lot of weird dynamics going on there with the getting your workers back. And I felt that, I haven't seen that in a lot of games. I've definitely seen stuff where resources are on a delay to get or whatever, but how it was done in this game, and particularly in an auction game, I thought that was pretty novel. And I liked that added puzzle that when I'm doing the auction and spending and dedicating my workers, that I got to be thinking about, man, am I ever going to be able to get these back? And you want to have a bunch back at the end of the game because they're worth extra reputation and coins, right? So
anything on your board.
Yeah.
Which that brings up another point too. Usually in auction games, you're dealing with money as far as the auction. I don't know how it is in Keyflower, but of course, Power Grid, the biggest, I guess the most known publicly anyway, auction game. You're using money. So most of the time, as far as I know, you're using money to auction, which is, different is what you're talking about with the worker. You're sending your workers over there to get the sponsored, the public and the private, what is it, sponsorships?
The public and private are the two that are out on the table. The co-sponsorship is to sponsor the public one after somebody else.
Projects. Right. Projects.
Yeah.
So that part of not actually spending, so when you spend money for a regular auction, it goes away. But this one, you're sending out workers, which you're going to get back. So that little bit of a nuance there was pretty interesting. So you have a good point there. You have to get your workers back, or at least send out enough workers on your public project that you're still getting like one back for every 3 turns later or whatever. So that whole planning thing is kind of weird.
Yeah,
but I like it.
It was tricky, and and also like you can't just focus on that either, right? I mean, you've got to win stuff, you've got to get reputation, you've got to get coins, so you can't be entirely focused on optimizing those workers because you're the other players are going to be throwing a monkey wrench in there with how much they bid. So it was kind of interesting. So anyway, as we were playing, was there anything that you didn't particularly like about the game?
There was a couple things I had prior to this and what I'm just thinking about now. The two things I had, that the public auction, the fact that you can just set the coins to 0 and then just end it, it's like, it feels bad because you could do it right off the bat.
Yeah.
If you just wanted points, then you don't need any coins because it feels bad. And that leads me to the thing I just thought of now, that the person with the lowest reputation, you just get cut out of the scoring part.
In a 5-player game, it's the 2 lowest reputations.
2 lowest. So so if you have enough coins, you're like, I'm good with everybody else's. I can kind of just skate on my reputation, try to raise that towards the end. I'm not a huge fan of hidden points, money or victory points. So that's a little bit like a personal thing. So I like knowing what everybody has. So you can count the number of tokens that somebody has, but you don't know what the value of it is. So those a little bit, and then my group don't particularly like that part. So if you have somebody, has a little Rain Man thing going on, they can remember what everybody has. I have a few friends that do that too. Those people have a little bit more of an advantage. So other than that, that's really the only like 2 or 3 things I have that are a little bit pet peeves. So that's more of like a personal thing. But that little bit. Other than that, that's really all I have.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, hidden but trackable information is, in general, I don't like that, right? Because just somebody who is trying to remember that stuff or has a good memory can remember it. But then on the flip side of that is, it's a good design decision to sort of eliminate AP, because if all the information is publicly on the table, people will be sitting there mathing out, do I need to win this auction over that or whatever? And that would make this game overstay its welcome to me, I think. So hidden information, hidden but trackable information, not my favorite thing, but I give it a pass here because I think it helps with that. But yeah, you're right about it's interesting that if you're sort of late in the game, the later rounds, and you're just like, well, I need reputation or I'm going to be out. So just forget all the money. I'm just taking this public project. And it's not that high of a cost, right? It could be just 2 or 3 workers to get all that reputation from that public project. And you just move all the money and now you've won it, right? Nobody else can do anything. So yeah, that's sort of weird. And we didn't do that.
That right. Huh? I said, we hope we played that part right. So
yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't say explicitly in the rules that you can do that, but it says when you go to the public auction, you have to move money. So if there's no money, then I would just assume you can't go to take the public auction. And incidentally, the game would be broken if that wasn't the rule, because I could just put my dudes there and then you could put you dudes there, and we're stuck in an endless cycle of stubbornness.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, so that was just sort of my thoughts on what you were saying. But I think the only thing really that was a miss for me was, I think there were some opportunities lost with the art. You said you like the art and the production. I didn't think, all the different project cards, there's like 3 or 4 copies of each project card, and they all have the same name and they have the same art, those copies. I just wish they were all unique. I would have felt a little more thematic about it. I like it. It would have been a little more interesting. And, and it's not just that the name was the same and the art was the same. All the numbers on it were the same too. So, I just wish there was a little more variety there.
Yeah, definitely opens up for expansions. I could see with the asymmetrical powers, and then it's like more sci-fi, I guess. We could go about all day what we could add, but yeah, it definitely opens up for expansions. I could see them expanding this. I mean, 5 players is kind of low as far as I think. Definitely could go to 8 and still be just fine. So I only played it the one time, but I definitely want to play it again with 5 players just to see. But yeah, I could easily.
I think you need like
players.
2 public and 2 private projects if you had 8 people or something.
Yep.
You could definitely. I think you could find a way to scale it. I'd be curious, how that would work actually. But,
because with the auctioning, so the public, you move all the money, you end that auction, and then with the private. Once you have more workers on there than everybody else, it's like you kind of screwed yourself out of the old next turns, but that's it for auctioning. So you're like done. So I don't see it taking much longer with more people, because you can just end the auctions really quickly. But yeah, I definitely got to play the game with 5 people, see how that scales.
Yeah. We haven't played the max player count, but I would like to try that. So yeah, cool. So overall, I would say if you're a fan of auction games, I mean, that's basically what it boils down to. This is a new and interesting take on auction games. So if you watched my, how to play this game section and thought, hey, that seems interesting, then, you should try this. If you're a fan of auction games, or if you thought that, style of auction looked good, that's basically the hook here, right? Mm-hmm. And so give this game a shot. If you don't like auction games, and if what you just saw didn't look good to you, then there's nothing deeper here. That is it. This is the game, right? So it's fairly simple. It's a simple teach. It's a simple concept.
Yep, I'm gonna put my stamp on beginner level auction game. That's bam right there.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So again, that is Reputation from Ninja Star Games. Thanks again to the publisher for giving us a review copy. Yes. If you want to see other reviews from us, or unboxings, or playthroughs, or just us blabbing about games in general, look down below. Hit that subscribe button. There's a link to our Discord channel in the description. Come chat with us about board games or whatever else. I don't care. And if you have any questions about Reputation, you can leave those in the YouTube comments here, or ask us in Discord as well. But yeah, until next time, I'm Steven. That's JJ. We are Just Got Played, and thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.